All right, let's talk about something big that's about to change the rules for every commercial truck driver on America's roads. It's Executive Order 14286, and in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly what it does, why it's happening, and what it really means for road safety.
So you're probably thinking, what's this brand new rule? Well, here's the kicker. It's not new at all. This quote you see here, this is from a federal regulation that has been on the books for a long time, and it's the legal foundation for everything that's about to happen.
So this executive order, signed on April 28, 2025, isn't actually creating new legislation. Nope. Its entire job is to take that existing rule about English proficiency and, well, enforce it, strictly and actively for what seems like the first time in a while.
Okay, so why now? Why this big push all of a sudden? Well, if you read the order itself, it boils everything down to one simple word: safety. This isn't being framed as some kind of language debate. It's being presented as a critical issue of public safety on our highways.
And the order doesn't mince words. It draws a very clear and frankly pretty stark line in the sand. It flat out says that because this requirement hasn't been enforced, and I'm quoting directly here, America's roadways have become less safe. That single phrase is the core justification for this entire policy shift.
And it's not just a vague claim. The order gets down to the nitty-gritty, the practical, everyday reasons why this matters for safety. We're talking about the absolute fundamentals: reading road signs, talking to a police officer, answering questions from officials, and accurately filling out mandatory paperwork. So, if safety is the what, then what's the how? Well, the order doesn't just state a goal and walk away. It actually lays out a very specific three-part action plan for the Department of Transportation to follow.
The first directive is where the rubber really meets the road, and it's happening fast. Within just 60 days, the Secretary of Transportation has to do two things. First, get rid of the old 2016 guidance on proficiency testing. Just gone. And second, issue brand new, much stricter enforcement procedures for the inspectors out on the road.
And this right here, this is the most dramatic change of all, the consequences. Before, the penalty for a violation was well, vague, unspecified. Not anymore. Under this new order, if a driver is found in violation, they are immediately placed out of service. That means the truck is parked right then and there. It's a huge deal.
Okay, moving on to Directive Number 2. This one widens the focus to license security. It orders a full-on review of commercial driver's licenses, especially those issued to non-domiciled drivers, to look for any irregularities. It also pushes for better protocols to verify that all credentials, whether they're from here or from another country, are legit.
Then we have the third directive, which takes a step back and looks at the bigger picture. It basically tells the Secretary of Transportation to go figure out ways to improve the working conditions for truckers across the board. It's an acknowledgement of the pressures and the challenges that the industry as a whole is facing. Now, if you've ever tried to read an executive order, you know they always end with a bunch of legal language, the fine print, right? So let's quickly demystify that, because it tells us about the legal limits of the order's power.
You'll almost always see a section called General Provisions at the end of these things. So what is its purpose? What does it actually mean for how this directive gets enforced?
Think of it this way. This section just sets the boundaries. It clarifies that the order can't violate existing laws, that its implementation depends on having the money to do it, and, this is an important one, it doesn't create a new right for a private citizen to sue the government over it. It's the standard legal boilerplate you see in executive actions.
So, after going through the goal, the action plan, and even the fine print, what's the bottom line? If you only remember one thing from all this, what should it be?
When you boil it all down, Executive Order 14-2086 is a major policy pivot. It's not about a new law, it's about a new direction. It's a direct command to federal agencies to stop overlooking a rule and start enforcing it, strictly and with immediate consequences. And that leaves us with a final, really important question to think about. The stated goal is safety, and the method is strict enforcement. But the real-world impact of this order is all going to come down to the answer to this. How will this new, stricter enforcement of a very old rule change who is behind the wheel of America's trucks?